Sadnam, my name is Guru Fateh Singh and I'm a teacher of Kundalini Yoga. Some years ago, my teacher gave me a job. My teacher, Yogi Bhajan, introduced me to Kundalini Yoga. I first met him in 1972. I was living in Toronto in our Kundalini Yoga ashram, and I was given an assignment back then to write my teacher once a month, and to do my duty, to do my, we call it karma yoga, to do your chores, to pay my rent, to do Kundalini Yoga with everybody every morning, 4 o'clock, and to teach one class a week. So that's when I started writing my teacher, having a correspondence with him. He was very gracious. I didn't have much to say. I was 18 years old, very young, inexperienced. But I was very honored that he did write back. He wrote very gracious letters. And a few months later, I met him for the first time at the Cornell University in Ithaca, New York. It was at a multi-faith panel. He was a great speaker. I really appreciated that. He was very kind and gracious. He met our Toronto group. We all got into a van and we came down to see him, and he hosted us, and it was something, you know. I have a very critical mind, so I was, of course, checking him out to see if he was fake or whatever, but I didn't find anything fake about him. I never gave up. I kept looking. I'm like that. My parents are German, right? So I have this thing about charismatic leaders. We don't want to follow them. But so he would come to Toronto about twice a year, and I would go. We would have yoga festivals in New Mexico and in Florida. Florida in the winter, and New Mexico in the summer. And we would get his lectures, sometimes written up. And so I followed him, his teachings avidly, and continued my morning practice and continued teaching, and didn't find anything phony at all. It was just empowering, and as much as I had my reservations about charismatic figures, I started to like him, like his mission at least. And come 83, he gave me the job to write his biography, which I was very honored to do. Couldn't really do it right away. I had a young family, and I had a new job. Like, I just started a business. It was a while before I could do it, but finally in 1995, I was able to send my first draft, and I sent another book because I knew one of his big teachings was about doing a regular morning practice of Kundalini Yoga, which he called sadhana, morning sadhana. So I did a collection of talks, bits of talks, excerpts from talks, and I even got some children. I asked them, what do you know about morning sadhana? So I got their little bits and put all that stuff together, some Guru Nanak sayings, and I sent that all together to New Mexico, and waited for a response. I was told that I needed to get approval to publish it. So that gave me, approval wasn't coming, and easily. It wasn't coming after a few weeks, it wasn't coming after a few months, even after a few years I was still waiting. Even after Yogi Bhajan passed, I was still waiting, but I wasn't waiting idly. I was still collecting stories, and finally in 2008 I started to publish it online, chapter by chapter. And I got up to about 1970, where I knew the story pretty well, and then I gave it a rest. But finally, 10 years later, 2018, a couple of years ago, we published online the whole thing as a big PDF, and it was a lot of fun to do. It's a beautiful, beautiful story. Whether you believe in Yogi Bhajan or don't believe in, it's not like believing in Jesus. He never asked that you should believe in him, but it's a story of a very humble person who came from very humble circumstances and touched a lot of hearts, gave a very empowering methodology, took the Guru Nanak formula and said, you know, don't follow me, be at least as good as me. That's what it's saying. I don't want disciples, I don't want people crowding my feet, I want people to be 10 times as great as me. I never heard anyone else say that, and that won my respect. And I tested him too, you know, I tested him again and again. I said to him one time, I said, you know, because I knew that there's a lot of nonsense in the spiritual field. I said, well, you know, the age of the Sikhs is dawning. They say, how long do you think it will last? And I knew if he was dishonest, he would say, oh, it'll go on forever until kingdom come. But no, he gave me a finite figure. He said 5,000 years. I thought, that's reasonable. I asked him one time too, you know, Guru Nanak, he gave us the Mool Mantra, but Guru Nanak must have had a teacher. I think of the most unconventional question. So I said, Guru Nanak must have had a teacher. What mantra did he give Guru Nanak? Guru Nanak's teacher, what mantra did he give him? And he gave me an answer too, which I'm not going to share on the video. It's just, let's just say it's unconventional, you know. And again, made me to trust him as an unconventional teacher, as an authentic teacher. And so I put all the stories I could get, the stories about his time in India, about his time in Toronto, his time in California, teaching the hippies, his difficult time integrating back with the Indian culture, with the Punjabi culture, with the Sikh culture, with his newfound Western students, and going through the terrible hell that Sikhs went through in the 1980s when the Indian government attacked the Golden Temple, and all the years of government-sponsored terrorism, to his, his final years as really a global teacher, and resting and recovering from a very bruised health from all his travel and all the stress that he took on for the last few years in New Mexico. It was an honor to write this story. I think it's inspiration for anyone that cares to find inspiration, and I feel very honored I was able to finish it. We published it without authorization, but I think authorization is granted from other places also. So it's there. It's as its own website. It's messengerfromthegurushouse.com. You can find the link just below, and it's free. You can download the PDF. You can share it, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you for spending this time with me. Sat Nam.